I don't know what to record.
You look beat, man.
I didn't sleep very well. Hey, Junior!
Yeah,
Make me some coffee while you're over there, okay?
um, okay.
You should do a video on music.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I could. What's your favorite band?
Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
How about you?
Uh, well, you could never go wrong with Metallica. Here you go. Thanks, Junior. You don't need any cream or sugar or anything, do you? No, I think this should be good. Good, because I didn't drink any. Okay. Oh, oh, God. Oh, Jesus. That tastes like, wait a second. Junior, did you brew me some instant coffee?
What? I don't know. Maybe. Ever since I learned it stunts your growth, I stopped touching this stuff. I can't lose any more inches. I'm not just talking about my height.
Okay, well, just for your info, coffee is coffee. This is instant coffee. Instant coffee is instant coffee. Okay? There's. Wait a minute.
And she thought of something.
I see. Oh, so he did kill all those ducks.
Monty, I need you to do research on instant coffee.
Oh, I see you finally thought of a video.
Instant!
Damn, I want whatever she's smoking. I brought the research for the new script. I hate my life.
Welcome back to the Dragon's Tongue, where soldiers may not have much, but they do have coffee. Possibly the worst form of coffee, but coffee nonetheless. So, instant coffee. What is it? To answer that, we have to go back. Back to the past. It's not as catchy as Back to the Future, but you get it. You get it. This came as actually a bit of a shock to me, but instant coffee was actually created in 1771. It was a long time ago, in Britain of all places, because Britons are like they like their tea.
We do like tea.
You do like tea, so I would think almost America would be the first place it would start because we're American drinkers. But we'll get there. We'll get to that. I didn't brush my hair. It was originally called coffee compound back in the day, and this was the 1700s part is far before there was any patented stuff. And they did this via methods of freeze drying or spray drying. Instant coffee, no matter what it's called or what method you use to make it, was kind of an instant hit even before it was really super popular because it was lighter, for shipping purposes. It had a longer shelf life because it's just, kind of crumbled shit. And of course, it was convenient to make because it was quicker to make. The first American instant coffee was created in 1851. Some of our soldiers drank it in the Civil War, but they weren't too fond of it. They were still drinking a lot more traditionally brewed. That was my rooster. They were more into traditionally made brewed coffee. And this was so much so coffee. Sorry, my rooster was crowing. I don't even know if you can hear that. But traditional coffee was made. The whole reason Americans got into coffee was because the Britons put a tax on it, right? Yo, what's up? This is Draven from the editing bay, and I would just like to say every time I say the word it after this, I didn't say tea. I meant tea. They put a tax on tea, and that's why Americans drank coffee. But I never say tea, so it sounds like I said they put a tax on coffee. After listening to it back, it was just confusing. So when I say it, I'm referring to the tea tax that the British put on it. So that's why Americans drank coffee. Just for clarification. Okay. See ya. Peace. And because of that tax, and Americans were like, well, fuck you, Americans just started drinking coffee. They were like, I'm not going to get taxed on that, so I'll just drink that instead. So millions of people, well, probably not millions. I don't know if it was millions at the time when Americans first immigrated here to America. The English immigrated to America. I mean, they were technically English at the time. But when they came here, they were just like, well, we don't want to get taxed on that, so we're just going to we're just going to drink coffee. So everybody basically turned to drinking coffee. And in the Civil War, in many wars, but in the Civil War in particular, I read that apparently, like, coffee was a breakthrough because Civil War soldiers mostly drank booze, and everybody was like, this is not safe, because there was many, like, injuries on both the actual front lines and then also just in camp because a lot of them were drunk. So to combat this, they gave them coffee. They shipped them coffee with their rations, and not only did the coffee rejuvenate them and give them energy, but it also uh gave them a lot of camaraderie with each other. Like sitting around and brewing a pot of coffee and laughing and telling stories over a pot of coffee became pretty commonplace in the Civil War. So that's interesting to me because it's like coffee saved the the Civil War soldiers apparently. This was so much so, in fact, like Civil War soldiers using coffee. This was so much so that they apparently incorporated coffee grinders into the butts of rifle stocks, which I think I read that some of them just use the butt of the gun just to crush the coffee grounds in general. But I did read that they put coffee grinders in the butt stocks, which is actually hella cool. The next official patent was by a David Strang, S-T Strang. I don't know. I might have even written that wrong. I don't know. But David of Invercargill, Invercargill, Jesus Christ, of New Zealand, in 1890. In 1890. He used something called that, like, they came to call the hot dry air method when it came to making his coffee, which I don't want to perpetuate the like meme, but does that not sound like an Australian thing? Does it not?
It does sound like an Australian thing.
It really does. And like, are we sure they're not the same continent? That's my question. Are we sure? Are we 100% sure? All of these methods somewhat worked, but it wasn't until 1901 that the first successful soluble coffee powder was to be made. It was invented by a Japanese American chemist named Satori Kato of Chicago. God damn it, do I love America, dude. Like, isn't that just freaking awesome? That it's like, oh no, we love coffee, now let's make instant coffee. And like one of the first guys to actually make a successful powder that was actually liked too, because we'll get down to that, to where people really didn't like it, but was actually a Japanese American guy from Chicago, of all places.
Dude, it's Kane.
It is Kane, yeah. It's Japanese American. Kane Emberson. He's in my book. Buy my book. Kato's version of the instant coffee was actually fairly popular, which is why a lot of people kind of credit him as the person who originally created instant coffee. But as previously stated, obviously, it was around far before he ever got to it. So it wasn't like he created it. But he did create basically the first kind that was actually successful in gaining popularity with the people, because the rest of them, well, again, we'll get to that. I also forgot to mention that there was a guy by the name of Alphonse Elias? Elias? Alliais? Elias? Um, and he's of France, so honestly, I don't feel that bad about forgetting about him. His was the first water dissolving patent, water dissolving instant coffee, patented in 1881. Unfortunately, it wasn't popular at all. Go fucking figure. Who likes instant coffee, dude? Come on.
I kind of like instant coffee on occasion.
Well, then you're wrong. I hate to say it, you're wrong. Stick to tea, you fucking gross, snazzle-toothed motherfucker.
Jesus, the hostility. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I'm just saying, stick to tea. You don't know what you're talking about, okay?
Technically, I'm Britain American, so fuck you.
Oh. Oh, I'm so scared. Anyway, moving on. Jesus Christ. But enough about the creators and the creation and the history. Blah. What was the coffee like? How was it? Well, it wasn't very good.
What's up, New Day, New Dawn, Draven in the Editor's Bay again. I just have to say, I did some more research where I was looking at pictures, and Alphonse's essence of coffee is not the essence of coffee that was used in the Civil War, which is what I'm about to say, and obviously you can see why that's confusing. They're both called essence of coffee. Alphonse's essence of coffee and another essence of coffee that was done by a George Washington, which I didn't know this, but apparently it's a well-known meme that George Washington created instant coffee. And obviously it's not the George Washington, like our president George Washington. It was some guy named George Washington, but he created the first actual coffee, which I do believe is the coffee that I mentioned earlier that was made in... I'm dying, by the way, I'm sick. Like I said, new day. But that essence of coffee, I think, is the one that I was mentioning in 1851. I think that's the George Washington coffee that they were using. And like I said, it's called essence of coffee, same as Alphonse's. Easy mistake, maybe not. I'm just saying, to clarify, there was also a whole nother creator of essence instant coffee that I did miss, and that is George Washington, which I can't believe that never came up in any of the articles that I mentioned. I feel like I was betrayed. But anyway, back to the video. Thanks. Bye. Peace.
So the Alphonse guy that I referenced, the Alphonse guy that I just referenced, his coffee brand, the article I read doesn't necessarily specify if this is the same thing, but I would imagine that's the same thing because it has the same name. So his coffee, the one that wasn't so popular, was called Essence of Coffee. And this coffee was distributed to our Civil War soldiers. So I remember I said like that our coffee was patented back in America. Well, they had already done this, right? So to get it to them in bulk or whatever, a lot of our Civil War soldiers got this essence of coffee stuff. And everyone hated it. They cited it as being bitter and sludgy. How does that even work? That's gross. This hatred of Essence of Coffee by both soldiers and civilians alike pushed Essence of Coffee to be discontinued. Canceled. It got canceled hard. And nothing of that ilk ever resurfaced again. Haters, okay?
You were the one that made an entire fucking sketch out of the first beginning of this video talking about how you didn't like instant coffee.
I said that there's a difference. I didn't say that I hated it. I said that there was a difference, okay? You can't just be like, "Oh, it's all just coffee." No, it's different. That's all. That's all I was saying.
You physically spit it out.
Moving on. Even before Elias's patent, a thing called Camp Coffee was a thing. And unlike Elias's invention, This stuff actually still kind of exists to this day. But this one is the most like interesting to me because apparently this coffee, camp coffee, was a syrup. So it was a syrup kind of thing that was instead of grounds or the freeze dry method or whatever spray dry or whatever whatever I said earlier. This was a syrup compound that you kind of just squeezed into it, I guess, or something like that. Something crazy like that. The facts are still somewhat out on who initially created the camp coffee, but what is not out is what was in it. Patterson and Sons, which is just kind of an awful name if I'm going to be honest, created this miracle syrup consisting of coffee and chicory? Chicory? Is it chicory or chicory? Chicory? Which, according to Wikipedia, it says common chicory is a somewhat woody perennial herbicus. I'm not a plant person, forgive me. Plant of the family Astericiae. Jesus Christ, they got some like ancient Greek names over here. I know, right? Usually with bright blue flowers, rarely white or pink. Native to the Old World, it has been introduced to the Americas and Australia. Da 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 da. So basically, it's just a plant root. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Also, I can kind of see how they put that together.
Yeah, coffee and plant root of some kind.
Yeah, and then put it into a syrup and be like, yeah, this is coffee.
Still bashing on it.
I'm never gonna stop bashing on it. Instant coffee is terrible. The Patterson and Sons company was based in Scotland, and according to the article I read, camp coffee, or this syrup kind of coffee, can still be found today. It's just extremely rare. You know, they don't sell it at your normal coffee shop or cafe or whatever, but they do still sell it, supposedly. It's just really rare to find, which I find kind of interesting that, like, something like camp coffee, a syrup like coffee, actually made it all the way to today. That's honestly impressive. Give it up. Give a round of applause for camp coffee. Okay?
I can't clap.
I don't care. But let's get down to brass tacks. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Possibly the most used brand of instant coffee today, most used, most popular, is Nescafé. Which I don't know if you can see that. I covered it up because I don't want Nestle to sue me. So, Nescafé. A lot like Camp Coffee, Nestle set out to create a better, more tastier instant coffee, which, like, makes sense because it's like people like coffee well enough, and then to be like, oh, let's make it instant, you can make it instantly. Who wouldn't jump on that bandwagon, especially a company as big as Nestle? So, in 1938, Nestle launched Nescafé, which is a not so subtle joining of, Nestle and cafe. Now, this stuff was revolutionary because it was not at all like the syrup or sludge instant coffee of old. Nescafe's instant coffee was tasty, it was good, it was pleasurable to both the nostrils and the tongue. It skyrocketed instant coffee to, the mainstream. It became the first globally distributed instant coffee brand. It became essential to both World War II soldiers and to housewives alike to get that quick fix in the day, in the morning, that nice kick without having to dirty up a dish or having to carry extra stuff. Like for the soldiers, they'd have to carry extra stuff. For a housewife, like, you gotta dirty a pot, you gotta dirty all this stuff, you gotta use filters and all that kind of stuff. Now, you could just make instant coffee basically on the go. Of course, I did read some bit of controversy about Nestle, but a company that big is bound to have controversies in the first place because it's so big and, money, hungry, greed, and all that kind of stuff. The good shit. But that's a video for a whole nother day, I think. Like, when it comes to controversies of big industries, like, you could make a whole video off of that. So I'm not gonna get into that just yet. Today, many people are drinking instant coffee, whether it's for the taste or the convenience. Many different companies and brands are racing to get that new instant coffee. You know, basically, like, the goal would be to make a instant coffee that tastes exactly like a traditionally brewed cup of coffee. Instant coffee is continuing to evolve to this day, with people using different beans, different methods, and all that crap. But one thing is for sure: it ain't never gonna taste like a goddamn nice brewed cup of coffee, alright? Ain't no way it's gonna become an actual coffee substitute, and I'll tell you why. You wanna know why, Kovac?
Tell me, bring it, hit me.
Because the psychology of the coffee, right? The psychology of the coffee. Okay, you got to get down into the meat of why we drink it, right? Brewing a cup of coffee, it's like a workout almost, right? It's something so like trivial where it really gets down to like it's the essence of the average man, right? And by man I mean man and woman too. Don't come up my ass, feminists. But I mean like the average working man, like just getting up and making a cup of coffee, right? Like that not like one of the first things a hardworking man does in the morning? You know, hardworking man, hardworking woman, whatever. It's the first thing you do. It's the first thing you put on the coffee so that you can have a nice cup of coffee in the day. It's awesome. Like, the brewing is part of it, not just like, oh, I'm gonna put up some water and I'm gonna put in some fucking shit and some powdered creamer.
Ugh, powdered creamer is one thing I can agree with. When I drink instant coffee, I drink it black because there's no other way.
You don't even put any milk in it or creamer? Because you can have instant coffee and have milk and creamer.
Milk and creamer?
Milk and creamer? No, but like milk and cream.
Yeah, sure, I have some cream or sugar with it a little bit, but
God, this guy. Cream and sugar.
You're nasty.
Okay. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is like the psychology, like when I think back to those soldiers who were drinking it, half the part was probably being like, oh yeah, he's getting the pot out. He's getting the pot out and he's putting the pot over the fire, and like we're smelling it brew. We're smelling it start to roast, and like that smell is not something that you get with instant coffee. Like, I have instant coffee. Obviously, I have an actual Nescafe instant coffee right here. And this stuff is okay. Like, you see, I've eaten some of it, but eaten some of it. Okay, well, I've drank. Okay, I don't eat this shit. That would be the problem, right? I'd be like, oh, why did I eat this? It tastes terrible. Anyways, I've even need to drink it, and it's not as good. It's just not as good.
No.
And I just have to say, like, it's never going to be that good because of the convenience almost, right? Like it's I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what the word for it is, but those everyday little things that you do as a human being, you know, like tying your shoes, getting dressed, taking a shower, all those little menial things, that's part of that's part of what makes a home a home. That's part of what makes a life, is those little things. And I feel like coffee is one of them where it's like, that's just what you do. Like, I drink tea now. I drink a powdered tea, right? I don't drink tea like he does. I don't drink that fucking shit. But, unless I'm sick. Tea's good when you're sick.
Tea's good any day, at any time.
Even at 3 a.m. like you were doing last night.
Yeah.
This guy. Anyways, I drink that tea, but one of the biggest things that I like about drinking tea or drinking coffee is the mechanics of it. Being like, all right, gotta put on the water, I gotta put on, make the tea, gotta get the milk out. I make my own thing, so I put apple cider vinegar in it, or I put sugar in it, or I make my own, like, concoction almost. And that's what helps me wake up during the day. It's not so much the drink itself, like I need that instantly, because coffee does nothing for me.
Right. That's a big part of it.
But it's the function, it's the cycle of getting up and doing that. So I feel like that's a big contributor to me as to why instant coffee will never replace actual coffee, is because half of it is creating it.
Right. I gotta agree with that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, like, getting the coffee, getting the scoops of coffee and everything, and opening a can of coffee is like heavenly. It's as close to heaven as you're gonna get. I'm telling you right now. Opening a can of coffee, like putting your nose right up to it and oh,
Uh-huh.
so I don't think it's ever gonna substitute. But here's my notes. For my notes, I am going to say I did not know it was this old. Like, instant coffee was this old. When I was like 17, what was it, 1771 or something? I was like, what? 1771? That's a long time ago. And of course, it wasn't like initially patented then, but to even have the idea of like, oh, let's freeze dry it and see if we can just put it in a cup of hot water or something like that is very fascinating to me, that somebody had thought of that along that time ago. And people did drink it, I think. It was just coffee compound is what it was called, and I don't think anyone had an actual. It never said who first actually created it back in Britain in 1771, but I mean, who knows? Maybe it was just one of those things that just came about. And I've been bashing on instant coffee this whole video, but I will say it is nice for those hard workers out there, those hardworking men and women out there that do not have the time for instant coffee. I get it. It's convenient. I get it. Um, but also back in the day, people worked like dogs and they still made their own coffee. So you don't really have an excuse, do you? No, a lot of those people probably died from working that hard too, so I don't know. But it is convenient. It is nice. Like I said, I have some purely for that in case I have to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get some I gotta go somewhere quick, or I woke up late and I'm like, oh shit, I got an appointment or I got something. I can just put some of that on and have, I don't know, a cup of coffee right there. I bought some MREs a couple months back, I think now. I had some couple MREs, and with MREs, you usually get a small packet of that stuff. You get what they call Bill's Brew. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's Bill's Brew.
Bill's Brew instant coffee, and that stuff's actually kind of good.
Yeah. I thought it was alright.
It comes with a packet of creamer too, and sugar that you can put with it, and it's actually tastes kind of good. So I want to get myself some of Bill's Brew, I think. But yeah, I think that it is good for hardworking men and women and soldiers too. Like I said, to just have a nice cup of coffee, like you said, you heat it up in their little heat warmer MRE thing that's a flameless heater type situation, and just have yourself a nice warm drink is probably very psychologically essential to keeping a person sane out there in that kind of situation. So I've been dogging on it just because I think it's disgusting, but honestly, like, it is convenient. It is nice for some people in certain situations. Also, like I said, with what is his name, Satori Kato, I actually really like learning about all the people that tried to make this, that make it, the original creators of the instant coffee, and the people who are like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna make instant coffee, and it's gonna be interesting, and I like learning about those kinds of people. Again, I didn't know it went that far back, so there was like several different creators and everything, but like, New Zealand, Britain, France, the Kato was Japanese American, but like, to even, like I said, a Japanese American from Chicago, like, created the first, like, that was very successful and actually liked instant coffee is kind of crazy to me. Just, learning about different regions that did stuff and different people and different, it's just always fascinating to me. I like learning about that kind of stuff. But that has been my semi. I'm not gonna say it's a deep dive because it was not a deep dive at all. It was just me skimming through articles and seeing stuff that I found interesting. But that was my dive into instant coffee, because I was thinking about it the other day and I'm like, instant coffee is odd and disgusting. But now we get to my favorite part of the episode. Treasure time. So for this treasure time, I did go to a different place. I went to there's an Oriental market, and that's the name of it. It's not me trying to be like, oh, Oriental, but that's what they call it. So I went to the Oriental market and I got some things instead. I picked up a couple things. So first thing, I'll go from kind of most valuable to me to least valuable is this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very heavy. It's very heavy, and it is a fully gold um cat that waves its hand. I don't even actually know what these are, but I'm just kidding. This thing is plastic. I'm fucking with you, but this thing is completely plastic. It's light as a goddamn feather. But I thought it was kind of cool and would be a neat addition. It's kind of cool. It's I always like these kind of cats. I actually have another one of these cats. That's a battery powered one, and this one is actually a solar one. But the guy said it didn't work, and he was like, "Well, it doesn't work. It's just a display." And I'm like, "Well, it's going in a treasure chest. So if you'll sell it to me, I'll buy it." And he's like, "Okay." Um, but yeah, there's some old style like Chinese coins on it. I actually have a few of these in my coin collection. But yeah, it's cool. I like that it's nice and shiny, and I always love that cat. I love that he's in like almost a little tub boat kind of thing with coins in it. I think that'll just look really cool. And then we got bowl. So this is china. It's microwave safe, but it's bone china apparently. That's what it says on the side anyway. I don't know what bone china is, but it looks nice. Again, like I said in my last video, heft means a lot. So how it feels means a lot to me. And this feels very nice. When I picked this up, I was like, this feels very nice. So here's more of a close up of it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got, some kinds of just decorative leaves, kind of nature leaves and stuff like that. This gold band is very nice on the edge of it. I like that. The gold band is on here too. Just a really nice little cup, like I haven't gotten any cups for my treasure hoard yet, which is something that you often find in treasure hoard, like a cup of a goblet and stuff like that. But this will look very nice. I can also put stuff in it. So you can put like I can put rings or necklaces or stuff in it. That can be really cool. So that's going to be a neat addition to my collection. And of course, my favorite addition, this little dragon guy. So I don't even know what this actually is. It didn't say what this is. He's like a little bell. You hear that? He's got like a little ball in him, but he's very cute. This little tiny dragon guy here. Look at him. Oh, he's so cute. And this little rope right here actually is nice rope too, which is like I kind of like that. It's a nice rope. And then he's got also some writing on this side, which of course I do not speak Chinese or whatever form of Asian writing this is, but I do like it. It's very nice. I understand why people get tattoos that are in like Asian from Asian culture, because they are very like neat. I love the style of like Asian writing. Whatever, almost whatever. I don't think there's any like Asian writing even of the smaller Asian countries that I've seen that I didn't like the way that they write words and stuff. It's just kind of cool to me. But yeah, this guy is really cute. And he's actually got some heft to him. I think he's actually heavier than this whole thing is. But he's got a little heft to him, and I just love that he's just a little smiling dragon guy. Look at him, he's so cute. So that's what's going to be going in to my chest this week. So thank you everybody for watching if you've made it this far. I hope you enjoyed my interesting little dive into instant coffee. And I hope to see you in the next video. This has been The Dragon's Tongue. Buy my book, it's in the description below. Peace.